Welcome to the Soft Poetic Muse Glam Masterclass. Before we pick up a brush, touch a foundation, or map out a lip, we must understand the face we are working with. Makeup is traditionally taught as a list of disconnected steps, but the process only becomes intuitive when we stop seeing it as a routine checklist and start treating it as a cohesive visual language. The center of this language is soft structure. The goal is to build definition and polish without overpowering the gentle architecture that already exists in the face. When applied correctly, this specific visual logic yields a look that is warm, lifted, and highly credible. Miss these principles, and the exact same products can render the face harsh, gray, or completely flat. Establishing the logic behind these choices is non-negotiable. We have to map out the why before we ever attempt the how. Looking at this bare and natural architecture on the left, we have to accept a physical reality. Makeup cannot literally change bone structure, eye shape, or natural coloring. What it can do, as seen on the right, is shift visual emphasis. We manipulate that emphasis through 5 specific mechanical levers: color, contrast, light, shadow, and edge definition. Because we are working with emphasis, spatial coordinates are everything. The exact same blush can create the illusion of lifting the face or heavily drag it downward, depending entirely on where it sits. The viewer's eye should never register the volume of product sitting on the skin. The immediate impression should simply be a person who looks clear, warm, and beautifully put together. The objective of this system is to clarify the pre-existing natural architecture. We are refining what is already there, rather than attempting to aggressively carve a new face out of artificial shadows. We define this aesthetic identity as soft poetic muse glam. To execute it, we must map subjective terms to objective visual textures. Softness dictates a strict avoidance of harsh carving, severe contrast, and heavy matte finishes. The poetic muse component requires gentle warmth, plush lips, and a luminous eye. These elements support the romantic and ingenue qualities of the face rather than masking them. The glam requirement means we are not aiming for bare minimalism. The face still needs enough structural definition to remain polished, credible, and camera-ready. Extreme minimalism leaves the face looking unfinished, while high-contrast theatrical glam overwhelms the natural harmony. The solution is a medium-intensity visual refinement. This structural map reveals a soft oval architecture. Aggressive geometric contouring creates a visual clash against these naturally rounded boundaries. Instead, we use a soft, upward sweeping blush architecture to achieve structural lift without heavy shadows. This brings us to visual weight. For this specific facial architecture, the ideal contrast level sits at soft to moderate. Definition is necessary to build a public-facing presence. Harshness is not. When contrast becomes too sharp, the natural softness of the face gets entirely overpowered. This means substituting a warm brown liner instead of a thick black one to define the eye without hardening it. It means selecting a champagne highlight to add light, rather than an icy white that disconnects from the skin. A product can be expensive, highly reviewed, and viral, but if it generates the wrong contrast level, it fails the map. We evaluate utility strictly by how the product interacts with the individual's natural baseline. We apply a precise color algorithm, soft autumn warmth combined with light spring freshness. The matrix isolates harmonious muted tones like peach rose, while rejecting heavy terracotta, stark black, and icy white that pull freshness out of the skin. These colors are not universally bad, but applied here, they introduce the wrong temperature, push the saturation too high, or create a jarring contrast error. Strict adherence to this combined warm and fresh logic ensures that every product melts into the skin. The final application remains luminous and fully integrated rather than flat or disconnected. We now lock in the spatial algorithm, the soft upward rhythm. The brow tail, eyeliner, and lashes synchronize in a deliberate lift. Mid-face blush sweeps high, supported by soft bronzer. This unified upward trajectory makes the entire face register as intentionally harmonious. If you combine downward-placed blush with flat brows and low eyeliner, the spatial logic breaks down, and the face looks visually confused and weighted. High peach rose blush with a diffused gradient actively lifts the bone structure, seamlessly integrating. Conversely, a low, harsh circular boundary drags the face downward. Finally, a warm rosewood lip anchors the face in balance, unlike a flat, vitality-draining beige nude. The discordant choices on the right are not objectively wrong. They simply belong to an entirely different aesthetic system. By aligning every product with this soft upward rhythm, the individual steps of the routine merge into one cohesive visual identity. The beauty map operates as both an aesthetic framework and a system for public-facing professional communication. The makeup must project competence, warmth, and credibility over long durations. Adopting heavy, fleeting internet trends severely undermines those signals in real-world environments. To replace subjective guessing, we use the Miro check. This is an analytical verification framework applied before stepping away from the vanity. Instead of asking, "Does this look good?" we ask objective questions. Does the cheek placement pull downward? Have the colors turned gray or muddy? Have the edges become too harsh? Applying these specific filters helps align the final look with the natural baseline, reducing the likelihood of common application errors like heavy-handedness or muddy color. The foundational axiom of this entire masterclass is simple. The face requires strategic refinement, never dramatic correction. We execute this through 4 critical mechanical levers: an even satin skin base, calibrated soft contrast, high blush placement, and warm neutral coloring. The logic that unifies these elements is soft autumn warmth, locked into the lifted, blended placement of the soft upward rhythm. This theoretical map serves as the prerequisite for physical application. Understanding the logic of the face provides the necessary intentionality for the later movements of the brush. A successful makeup application acts as an elegant frame that supports your presence, rather than speaking louder than you do. Now that we have the map, we are ready to move on to the physical tools required to build it.